guys, it's Juliet here at Spoilt Rotten Beads, and today I am going to show you how to make the beautiful set of jewellery that I am wearing. It is called Monsoon. It features a beautiful pendant, a pair of matching earrings, a lovely bracelet, and I think you'll agree it's absolutely stunning. It's such beautiful colours. To make this set, we have used the brand new colours for spring summer 2018 from Matubo, which are called Tutti Frutti, and they're delicious, as I think you can see here. They're really bright and colourful. And I have taken a lovely pattern that was made by a lady called Nela Kabelova for Matubo. It's called Safari, and what I've done is I've taken Nela's pattern and adapted it to make this lovely set. So this pattern is called Safari. You can download it from our website, www.spoiltrottenbeads.co.uk. So you'll find that pattern on our site. But as I say, what I've done is I have adapted the pattern to make this lovely set. So in the pattern, Nela uses some mini duo beads, but I have sized it up a little bit to use SuperDuos, which I think works really, really well. I've added the tassel and made the earrings, and we've also used size 6 seed beads, whereas I think Nela uses size 7 seed beads in her pattern, but it works equally well. So this beautiful set is actually available as a very limited edition kit from us at Spoilt Rotten Beads. So it is limited edition, and when the kit is sold, it is gone. However, the pattern will still be available for you to download, and we'll leave this video on the website as well, so you can make up your own colorways and enjoy just experimenting with those beautiful colors that are coming through from Matubo at the moment. So head on over to our website to download the pattern, and do purchase that kit quickly if you do like the colors that I'm wearing, because as I say, it is limited edition. So before I go on to showing you how to make this, I'm just going to ask you guys for a small favor. I am going to put a link to Google on the description for this video, and we would be so super grateful if you could click on that link and leave us a Google review if you enjoy watching our videos and buying our kits and our patterns. It really means so much to us. So if you do get a moment, we would be really grateful if you could click on that link and leave us a Google review. Okay, so that's enough of that. Let's get making. Okay, so to make one of these beautiful Tutti Frutti sets, you're going to need the following. You're going to need some SuperDuos, and I am using one of the new SuperDuo colours, which is called Tutti Frutti Fuchsia, which is absolutely beautiful, really, really vibrant pink there. Then you're also going to need some GemDuos as well, and I'm using one of the new Tutti Frutti colours here, and this one is called Cantaloupe. And then you're going to need some Nibbits. These are made by Matubo as well, and this colour is called Pearl Shine Watermelon. You're going to need some size 6 and some size 11 seed beads, and these are Miyuki, and I am using Duracoat galvanized gold in this project today. You're going to need some open jump rings, and I'm using some 7mm gold plated open jump rings. You're going to need some little ear wires. Again, I've got some gold plated ear wires that I'm going to be using today. You're going to be needing some tassels, and these are the lovely silky tassels that I'm using, and you can see that they come with a jump ring ready attached to them, but you'll see in this earring here how we don't use this jump ring. So when I come to use the tassel later on in this video, I'm going to show you just how you remove that jump ring without damaging the tassel. One thing I will say about the tassels when they arrive is because they're this beautiful soft, they're really lovely silky tassel, so they're not like one of the cotton tassels that you can get on the market. They're lovely silky ones, but what that means is sometimes when they arrive with you, they will have just been a little bit squished in transit, and they may arrive a little bit messed up looking like this. If that happens and one of your tassels arrives like this, it's not the end of the world. It's very easy to sort it out. All you need to do is take the tassel and just dampen it down and just smoothen it off like I have done with this one here. This one is just drying here, and when it dries, it will dry absolutely flat and straight like the others here. So if your tassel arrives and it's a little bit funky looking, don't worry, just dampen it down, smooth it off, and just let it dry, and you'll find it will dry perfectly. The other things you're going to need are a clasp, and I'm using this lovely sparkly box closer clasp here, which again is gold plated and I think fits beautifully with the Bollywood theme of this set. And for the necklace you're going to need a snake chain, and I've got an 18-inch gold plated snake chain that I'm using today. And additionally you're going to need some size 10 beading needles and some 6-pound fireline thread. Okay, so this bracelet and the earrings and the necklace as well are all made using these lovely little units that you make following that pattern that I showed you earlier. So what I'm going to do now is demonstrate for you how to make one of these units, how to attach it onto your bracelet, and then when I've done that, I'm going to show you how to attach the clasp onto the bracelet, and then I'm going to go on to show how you can adapt the pattern to make an earring and also to make the pendant for your necklace. So the first thing you need to do is thread your needle up with the longest length of file line that you're happy working with. You won't need actually much for each unit, but I like to thread up my needle once at the beginning, and then I don't have to keep rethreading it every time I want to make a new unit. So what I'm going to do is, to begin with, I'm going to be picking up these GemDuos, and if you've never used GemDuos before, just take a moment to take a look at them and you'll see that they've got one flat side like this one here and one raised side, and I always feel like the raised side is the front of the bead, but it's really up to you. But you can see the front of the bead there, what I call the front of the bead anyway, it's the raised side. So I'm going to be making sure that my GemDuos are all the same way up as I come to use them. With the Nibbits, they've got two holes and they're identical on both sides, so it really doesn't matter which side, they're both the same on both sides of the bead there. So the first thing you need to do is to go through one of the holes on one of your GemDuo beads, then pick up a Nibbit bead and pick up another GemDuo bead like so. Take that down towards the end of your thread. Just letting my thread go through there. I'm just leaving a little bit of a tail here because I'm going to knot this tail off in a moment. And now what you want to do is pick up 5 of your SuperDuo beads like so. So there's 5 SuperDuos there. Let that fall down to the rest of my work, and then go through the empty hole in that GemDuo that you've just exited. So I'm just going through that empty hole in that GemDuo there, and those little SuperDuos will curve around and form that little fan shape there. Now you're ready for another of your Nibbit beads, and you see how both times actually that I'm using these, I'm threading through the thin end of the Nibbit to begin with here. So I'm picking up my second Nibbit and threading through this thin end before I go through the next hole in the very first GemDuo that I added. And I'll pull this down, let you guys take a look at that. There you go. I'm just going to reposition my work on my bead match so it's a little bit easier for me. Now what I want to do is pick up 5 more of my SuperDuos. There we go, 5 more SuperDuos. Take those down to my work, and I'm now going to knot off this tail of thread that I left right at the beginning. So I'm going to knot this tail of thread to my working thread here. So I'm just going to tie a regular knot there and pull it tight. And as I do, everything kind of tightens up and you've got that really pretty shape there already. And I want to make sure that that knot holds. So what I'm going to do now is tie a couple of double knots where I go through my loop a few times just to make sure that that knot holds tight for me. And I'm going to just tie one more on top of that. There we go. Tying that knot there. Here we are. And you can see, because I paid attention to the which way that I threaded on my GemDuos, they're now both facing upwards. So that's the top of the GemDuo and that is the bottom of the GemDuo there. Now what I want to do is pull that knot that I've just tied inside a few beads. So I'm going to thread through this GemDuo, Nibbit and GemDuo, and I'm just going to come out in between this GemDuo and this SuperDuo here. and that's going to pull that knot inside a bead and get me to the place that I need to be to continue beading. There we go. I'll give that a little pull, and that pulls that knot inside a bead. There we are. So now what I'm going to do is step up through the empty hole in that first SuperDuo that I get to. And this is where I start to use my seed beads. So I'm now going to pick up a size 11 seed bead and go through the next empty hole in the next SuperDuo, and I'm going to continue around those 5 SuperDuos there, adding in that row of 11s there that really gives it that lovely sparkle to the piece. The gold accents these colours just beautifully and really fits with the Bollywood theme, I think. So there we go, we've added 4 size 11 seed beads, and I'm now ready for one of my size 6 seed beads. I'm going to go pick up my size 6 seed bead, and I'm going through the empty hole in that Nibbit, and then picking up another size 6 seed bead and going through the next SuperDuo. And I'm going to continue around, just doing the same thing to this side of the element that I've done to this side. So this is going to be a row of size 11s in between each of my SuperDuos. There we go. There we are. You see how quick and easy these lovely little elements are to make, and they're really versatile, as you can see with this set that we've made using them. So now I'm ready for my size 6 seed beads. There we go. My second size 6, and that is my lovely little GemDuo element there. So I need to finish off my thread now. So to do that, I'm going to just thread through a few beads in the end fan shape here and tie some half hitch knots. So I'm coming out of this size 11 here. I'm going to hook underneath the thread between 2 beads so that I get a loop, go through my loop, and that makes a little half hitch knot, and I'm going to tie another one there. And then I'm going to go through a few more beads and repeat that process a couple of times so that it's all nice and secure, and it all stays together when I'm wearing it. It's a real party piece, this, I think. It's so pretty. So I'm just tying off my last half hitch knot here, and then I'll be ready to trim off my tail of thread. There we go. So it's all nice and secure. So I'm going to take my scissors now and trim off my 2 tails of thread, and there you have it, one of my little elements here. Now what I'm going to do is to show you how to attach one of these to your bracelet. You can see I've been beading away here, and I've made 6 elements already on this bracelet. So I'm going to now attach the element that I've just made to the end of the bracelet here. And to do that, I'm going to be using these 7mm gold-plated open jump rings. And you'll need to take 2 pairs of chain nose pliers, and you want to pick up your jump ring and find the opening on the jump ring. And I can see that my opening is right here on the top. And grip either side of the opening and just twist the jump ring open like so. And now what you can do is slip that jump ring through one of your size 6 seed beads. Let me just make sure that the camera's nice and focused in there. I think it is. There we go. And then making sure that everything is the correct way up and that you're making sure that your GemDuos are the right way up, you can now just slip through the size 6 seed bead on the element that you've just made, and again grip that jump ring either side of the opening and just close it up like so. That's one side, and then for the other side I'm going to repeat that process. So I'm picking up this little jump ring, twisting it open, sliding it through one of the size 6 seed beads. Oops. Here we go, and then also through the other element that I'm joining on. Again, grip either side and twist it closed, and there you go. So that's as simple as that. That is how you how you make your little element and how you attach it onto the rest of your bracelet. So the next thing I'm going to do is to show you how to attach your clasp to the last element in your bracelet. Okay, so I've made a total of 8 units for my bracelet, and this is going to make a bracelet with a length of, oh, where's my tape measure gone? There it is. There we go. Let me just measure this for you. So it's going to make a bracelet that is going to be just over 7 inches in length, which I find fits my wrist quite nicely, with a little bit of loop, little bit to spare there. So I've made that total of 8 units, but when you get your kit from us, you'll actually have enough to make a bracelet with a total of 9 units, which is just over another inch. So you'll be able to make a bracelet that measures just over 8 inches in length. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you just how to attach your last unit to the clasp. So to do that, I've just threaded up my needle with another length of fireline thread, and I'm going to attach this fireline thread to my last unit just by hooking down between 2 beads and just knotting my thread around the thread in between a couple of beads. And as you can see here, I'm tying a few double knots. So I've just tied a couple of double knots there. And I'm going to pull that knot that I've just tied into a bead just by stitching through a couple of beads here, and that will pull that knot inside and hide it. And I'm now going to just tie another knot there just to be sure. There we go. Why not one more for luck? There we go. So I've now securely attached my thread, and what I can do is just trim off this tail of thread that I don't need anymore. Just don't want it to get in the way. So I'm now exiting from this size 6 seed bead here, and I am going to pick up 2 size 11 seed beads, and I'm going to, let me just grab my clasp here. There we go, there's my clasp. I'm going to go through one of the links on my clasp and pick up another 2 size 11 seed beads and go back through that size 6 seed bead that I'm exiting. Put it all tight and go through everything in that clasp loop one more time. So I'm just going through all those size 11s and then back through the 6 one more time. Pull that tight. And there you go, that is 1/2 of my clasp attached. Let me just move that across so you can see that. There we go. And so what I'm going to do now is do the same thing to the other side. So I'm stitching through the Nibbit and exiting from the next size 6 bead in my bracelet. And again, I'm going to pick up 2 size 11 seed beads, go through one of the holes on my box clasp here, pick up 2 more size 11 seed beads and go through the size 6 seed bead one more time. Pull that all tight. There we go. And then just to add some strength to my piece, I'm going through all of those beads in that clasp loop one more time. So I'm going through those 2 size 11s, through the loop on the clasp and through the last 2 size 11s that I added, and back through that size 6 seed bead there. So you can see that I've now attached my clasp, and what I want to do now is to finish off my thread. So to do that, I'm just going to stitch along my last unit, go down between a couple of beads here, going to try and exit from one of these size 11s if I can. Pulling it all tight as I go. I'm going to exit from this little guy here, this size 11. Here we go. There we go. And just again, I'm going to tie some half hitch knots. So I've just hooked down between 2 beads to create a loop. Go through that loop, pull tight. Do that another few times there. Stitch now through a few more beads just to pull that knot inside, and repeat that process I always think bracelets get a little bit more wear on them than a necklace. You really just want to make sure that everything is nice and secure with a bracelet. So I'm just tying a few of these half hitch knots here and stitching through a few more beads. I'm just going to do it one last time, and then I'll be ready then to snip off my tail of thread here. There we go. Last knots through the next bead, just to pull that, hide that knot away inside a bead there. Doesn't want to come. I may have a knot inside that bead already, so I'm just going to stick where I am there, going through that SuperDuo. There we go. Knot is all hidden, and I can trim off my tail of thread. And there is my beautiful, colourful Monsoon bracelet, which I think is just so pretty. These colours are just so vibrant. They're just perfect for summertime there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make another unit, just so you guys get to see me make another unit, and I am going to show you how to convert that unit into one of these earrings and add your tassel. So I'm just going to grab myself a little bit more thread here. So I'm going to got a big roll of fire line here. I'm just going to pull myself off some fire line and add my needle. There we go. And now I'm ready to make my other unit. Okay. So I'm doing this exactly the same way as we did for the units on the bracelet. Exactly the same way, but we're just going to do something slightly different at the very end there, just to add the tassel and to make the loop to make it into an earring. So again, I'm going to start off by picking up a GemDuo bead, followed by a Nibbit, followed by another GemDuo bead. Take that down towards my tail of thread and pick up 5 of my lovely pink SuperDuos and go through that first GemDuo that I get to, through that empty hole in that first GemDuo. Pick up another Nibbit bead, picking up at the narrow end there and going through the next GemDuo bead on that, through that empty hole. There we go. Now ready to pick up 5 more of my SuperDuos. Okay, and now what I want to do is just knot my tail together with my working thread. So tying a knot here, pulling it all tight. You can see you've got that nice fan shape now. And what I'm going to do is tie a couple of double knots, one on top of the other. I really want to make sure this is nice and secure. So I'm tying some double knots here. Pulling it all nice and tight. And there we go. So I'm now going to stitch through this GemDuo, Nibbit, GemDuo. So I'm exiting between this GemDuo and this SuperDuo here. There we go. So I'm exiting from this GemDuo and I'm going to step up through the empty hole in the first SuperDuo that I get to. This little guy wants to get involved. Get my jump rings out of the way. I don't need those now anymore. Okay, so now I'm ready to embellish the edge of this with my size 11 seed bead. So I'm picking up a size 11, going through the empty hole in the next SuperDuo that I get to, just continuing around that fan shape in exactly the same way. There's my little row of size 11s. I'm now ready for size 6 and pick that up and go through the empty hole in that Nibbit. Another size 6 seed bead and going through the empty hole in the next SuperDuo. Now ready to add that row of size 11s again on this side of the element. And once more I'm ready for my size 6. Pick up my size 6, go through the empty hole in that Nibbit, and my last size 6. And there's the element, and you can see it's exactly the same as the bracelet element, but now we just need to attach the tassel and then make the little loop to make it into an earring. So to attach the tassel, I'm going to stitch through my beads all the way around until I get to that first size 6 bead that I added, and I'm going to exit from that first size 6 bead there. There we go. So I'm exiting from that first size 6 bead, and what I'm going to do now is just trim off this tail of thread because it's beginning to annoy me there. Okay, so I'm ready for my tassel. You see how these tassels come with a silver ring attached to them? We don't need that for this project. So rather than trying to find the opening on this ring and take it off that way, I wouldn't recommend you do that because you risk damaging your tassel. It's much better just to take your side cutters and just cut through this ring because you just don't need it. Get rid of it, and once you've cut through the ring, you can then just gently slide the remains of the ring out from the inside of the tassel there. If you get a little loose bit like I've got here, then that's fine, just pull it away, it'll be fine. There we go. So there's my tassel ready to use. So I'm now going to pick up 2 size 11 seed beads and go through the middle of that tassel there, and then 2 more size 11 seed beads and through the next size 6 bead. Whoop. Getting my thread caught around my tassel, there we go. There you go, and there's my tassel. So I'm now going to stitch all the way around here, and so I'm exiting from this size 6 seed bead on this side of the element. So I'm just stitching through everything. There we go. So I'm now exiting from this size 6 seed bead here, and you see how we make this little loop here to attach our ear wire. So what you need to do to make that loop is start off by picking up a total of 10 of your size 11 seed beads. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 10 of my size 11 seed beads there. And now what you need to do is go through this 6th seed bead that you just added. So I've got 4 here, and that will be the 6th seed bead, or it's the 5th from the top, whichever way you like to look at it. It's fine. Pull that through, tighten it all up, and you'll see you've got now a little loop on the top there. You can just about see that. And I can now pick up 5 more of my size 11 seed beads and then go through that next size 6 seed bead there. If I turn all my work around so you can see it the right way up, you can see what I've done there. There's no need now to go through all this and strengthen it off again, because it's an earring and earrings really don't get much pressure on them at all. So I'm not going to worry about doing that. I'm just going to knot off my thread now and finish it off and just show you how to attach your ear wire. So again, I'm just pulling my knots inside the next bead, working my way around, just tying a few knots there so that I'm happy that it's really nice and secure. There we go. Pull that last knot inside that last SuperDuo there. There we go, and I'm ready now to trim off my little tail of thread. And now we can just attach this element to the ear wire using the loop that we just created. So take your chain nose pliers, take your ear wire and just twist the loop on the ear wire out ever so slightly to the side, and then you can slip on that element that you've just made and twist the loop on the ear wire back together again, and there is your earrings. So I've also made a pendant which I'm actually wearing now, so let me just take it off and show you guys the whole set together, because I'm really pleased with how this has turned out. So there we are, there is my beautiful Monsoon set using the GemDuos, the Nibbits, the SuperDuos, size 11 seed beads and size 6 seed beads, and of course that wonderful pattern from Nela Kabelova for Matubo. So I really hope you have enjoyed watching this video. Please do leave your comments below. Check back soon for more inspiration, and if you get a chance, we'd be really grateful if you could leave us a Google review. Thanks guys, bye bye.